Hi Boomer fans, welcome to this week's edition of Coach's Corner from our hub in Brisbane whilst in quarantine, proudly brought to you by Lucerne Investment Partners and Eikon Financial. This week's guest is one of our tall Ferns, a graduate from Berkeley and coming into her second season with the Boomers. She's one of the most talented upcoming bigs, along with, as you'll find out, one of the most amazing artists. Welcome, Penina Davidson. Hi, Neens.
Hello.
Bit weird talking to you in the room next door.
Yeah, I know.
So firstly, I think we need to let everybody know. Do you want to explain? I've already mentioned in the introduction that we're in Brisbane, we're in the hub, we're in our second week of quarantine. Do you want to give everyone a little bit of a brief as to what's been going on and what we're up to?
We've just been all together kind of writing out this mandatory quarantine. Each team is kind of on different floors and we've been training at 8 a.m. every day apart from the weekends, which is, much to my pleasure, waking up at 7 something. And then weights in the afternoon. It's been pretty chill actually, and pretty blessed in terms of lockdown rules.
So otherwise we're all in our rooms and keeping ourselves occupied and keeping each other entertained and humoured. What's been the standouts for you so far?
We're all pretty much got our own room, so it's been pretty cool and chill with that kind of stuff. We all play cards, but I've recently really enjoyed the murder game that we've been playing where, someone kills someone each round and then we all have a big argument for 2 minutes in one room and figure out who it is. So that's been a pretty cool standout actually. I never used to play card games before, but I've been pretty converted now. Lots of Netflix shows happening. Some of the girls have actually been working pretty full time, so they come straight from training and they're just working on their computers. Coaches, I'm sure, are doing lots of film, so I'm not jealous at all.
A bit of a juggle and kudos to them. Big shout out to them. They're doing a wonderful job. What card games are you playing? What's the favourite at the moment?
We're playing Phase 10. It's a new one I've learned. I'm not sure how popular that is. Phase 10 and another game called Sequence, which is pretty cool too.
I mentioned again in the introduction that you are a fabulous artist. Tell us all about that, because it's a huge part of who you are.
Honestly, I kind of knew I was okay at art, back heading into high school, and then I picked it up again in college. And the reason I picked it up in college was because I realized it was I have this little saying, because I was a pretty bad self-harmer, where I was you know what, when I'm feeling bad, I need to figure out something positive to do with my hands. Sometimes I like cooking, but you can't cook 24 hours a day. So it's just I need to figure out more things. And I was I'll just get back into drawing. And that's hours on end. Sometimes some of the works I do takes 12 hours plus. So it's just a good positive thing just to take it all out on, a piece of paper, or in my case, my iPad, and channel some of the darker things I have going on and on the drawing.
A lot of the girls have benefited from your amazing talent. So tell us a bit more about specifically what you do art-wise.
I've really gotten into the digital thing. My sister, she's in art school right now and she's quite hands-on with the other stuff, but I'm all digital. So it's having an entire art store on an iPad, which I find really beneficial when it comes to moving so much. I don't have to lug around all this heavy art supplies. And I love the digital stuff because I can also do make t-shirts and canvases, which it's been pretty sweet actually, because sometimes I'll just be in training and one of the girls is wearing a shirt that I drew, which it's pretty nice. Yeah.
You designed a pair of shoes last season for
Taylor? Oh, yeah. I'm big on the recycling stuff. So, recycling clothes. And then I was why not shoes? When shoes get boring, why not just revamp them and paint it?
You've mentioned, obviously, the self-harming. I think it's very well known that you are an extremely, extremely strong, resilient young lady that has overcome a lot of mental battles. So obviously the arts really helped you through all of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to a point, so I like to draw profiles because I don't know, the face is quite fun to draw sometimes, and then I'd add a little bloody tear, and it can be quite morbid to some people, but it was just my way of blood, sweat and tears to get where I am now, even just to stand here. So that bloody tear was kind of just my way of recognition of my little journey.
Yeah. And where are you at that journey right now, Names? How are you going?
Still learning, significantly better than even just a couple months ago. It's rapid improvement, but still learning.
You know, as I said, you're an extremely strong, resilient young lady, and a lot of people will obviously find inspiration from the stories that you've got to tell. All right, so Neems, give us a snapshot on how you've gotten to be with the Boomers.
I don't remember when I started. I never know the age. I just remember it was like back in the day, you just did a mixture of things. Basketball was one of the ones I hated the most because back then we didn't have girls' leagues. So I was stuck with boys and I just sucked. I mean, my first basket was for the other team. Like, it was awful. And I remember just being happy because I made a basket. So I was like, yay. And then all the parents were like, no. And I was like, whatever. And then I remember, I started getting to that age where you kind of made development New Zealand stuff. And my dad, he was just like, you know what, we're just going to sacrifice a summer and just train. Just me and you, because he was my coach at the time. It made a massive difference. I went from like not starting or like barely playing for my own father to finally starting in, like under 13s. And then I started making up the ranks. And then it was actually with Kalani, we started making New Zealand teams. And it was just pretty much like that. You just started progressing your way through the age groups. And then we were 16 at the time when we started getting invited, 16 or 15, to Tall Ferns camp as that like development. And I started to get like a bit of a taste of like what it was like to play at the real women, like the big women's leagues. And actually my first memory of Tall Ferns was Tony. And I don't know, she did something, it was real intense, and she got into it with someone because someone elbowed her, and I just remember thinking, whoa, I am not with the girls anymore. Got to debut at home, which was one of my most special memories because I had my family sitting on the sideline, and I got to put on a New Zealand uniform, and even to this day, I'll still bawl my eyes out at the anthem because I didn't realize it's just such a privilege to be proud of, your jersey and your country. Went to Berkeley, that was a whirlwind of a ride. But got to experience March Madness, got to graduate, which was, forever grateful. And then coming out of college, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And then Chris Lucas called me up and gave me an opportunity to play for Adelaide, which I'm very grateful for because, WNBL is an extremely tough league. Then after that, I remember calling Kalani and telling Guy, I was like, I really want to play for the Boomers. Like, the deciding game was we were coming over to Boomers, and I remember the Boomers just looked like such a family. And I was missing my family at the time, but I was intimidated get-go. Like, walking into the gym was even intimidating because, you're really celebrating women, and that really touched me. Yeah, ever since then, I was like, I really want to become a Boomer. And then Guy thankfully called me, and yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah, in the best kind of way.
What would you say are your standout memories throughout your career so far?
Standout memories would definitely be graduating. It's just, I have such an emphasis on, I didn't realize till after I graduated just how cool school is. And I don't mean to be that older person that's like, school is cool. It's like, no, school is really cool. Basketball can be taken away. Your degree never will be. So I have basketball to thank for my degree. Playing for the Tall Ferns is definitely always going to be a highlight of mine. And either the finals WNBL or March Madness.
And how are you feeling about the upcoming season? This is such a different feel for us, isn't it? Like going into this situation and getting to live together for 8 weeks, day in, day out. There's only going to be 1, 2, at the most 3 days between games. It is going to be full on. How are you feeling about the upcoming season?
Honestly, I'm really excited just because when are we ever going to have like a season where it's pretty much like a clean slate for everyone? It's just going to be like, no, it's really going to come down to how you're feeling on the day. And I think that's a great opportunity to just go guns blazing.
And how do you think the Boomers are looking so far? We've obviously, it hasn't been the most ideal prep. I'm sure every team feels that way. How are you feeling at the moment about how the Boomers are looking?
I think considering everything that's happened, and you have to take that into consideration, we look pretty good. We've always felt like such a family. I've never once doubted that we're not a family. Family kind of like squabbles, like at best, but it's always a unit, which I love. So we kind of do everything as one, which, could be the difference.
What do you bring to the team, Neens? What are you going to bring to the season?
Well, now that I'm in better shape, I'm hoping to bolt down the middle like it's nothing but, Usain Bolt down there. So we'll have more of that. And I am also hoping to just grab some great rebounds, set some great screens.
What are your goals personally over the next few months? Do you have any basketball-wise?
I have constantly not being able to get that consistency. Like, it's been a constant thing with no matter what team, is to grasp some kind of consistency. So I'm hoping to figure that out in this whirlwind of a season.
I'm sure you will, Nines. I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
And looking back now over your journey, looking back at a younger Nines, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't take everything so seriously. I think I spend too much time worrying about tomorrow's issues when it's like I still have this many hours in the day. Like, I just need to take a breath and just, be present.
Preferred nickname?
Names.
Favourite saying or word?
So, favorite saying is focus on the 1% because they will all add up.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, I do. A little black cat called Azrael, which is the angel of death.
Outside of basketball, what is your favourite thing to do?
Well, actually, I like gaming. I brought my whole computer to the hub life,
Actually, you just reminded me, you were Pokemoning around the hotel the other day?
Yeah, I was taking him for a walk. I wasn't being weird and just going into people's rooms. I needed to get the steps up.
What do you mean you're taking him for a walk? It's totally weird.
You can get a Pokemon buddy and you have to get 2Ks and rack it up, and then you get a little heart. So I was trying to get my 2Ks.
Who inspired you most as a young athlete when you actually did realise you loved basketball?
2 people. It was Serena Williams, just because, unconventional body type in the beauty fashion world. Loved the fact that she owns that. And Lauren Jackson.
Favourite board or card game?
Favourite board or card game would have to be Mafia.
Something quirky we don't know about Nines.
I am afraid of the dark.
Is there anything after the whole COVID thing, and I know you guys didn't get it as bad in New Zealand as we did, is there anything that you are now completely sick of or don't like doing anymore?
If I see another puzzle in my life, I will break it apart. I never want to see one. I'm never going to help anyone do it either. My friends will struggle by themselves because I will not participate.
There's one on our coffee table. You're not going to help?
Yeah, no, I went to reach for a puzzle piece and I was like, no, Penina, no.
What is your favourite part about competing?
My favourite part about competing is that there's rewards either way. It's cliche, but there are rewards either way, and I love that. I love that it's not winner takes all.
Any pre-game routines or superstitions?
I try not to be superstitious about games because stuff happens, so you need to be flexible, I found. I'm actually usually listening to soundtrack music. That's the one consistent thing I will do.
If you could invite any one guest to dinner, who would it be and why?
I don't know why, and I've never, ever answered this question like this before, but for some reason I want to say Barney, the bloody purple dinosaur. I don't know why. I won't explain that because I don't know why.
Do you even talk?
No, I don't even think so. That just came to my head. It was Barney.
Favourite pre-game pump-up song?
Right now, it'll have to be Algorithm by Childish Gambino.
Favourite food?
Oh, Japanese food. Any type. Sushi, katsu bowls, any of that.
What's your go-to treat when you want to give yourself a little treat?
Chocolate, but recently almond croissants.
Biggest pet peeve?
Off the top of the head would be when someone corrects you and it's just was that necessary? You knew what I was intending. You didn't have to swing your knowledge on me.
Favourite emoji?
Favourite emoji would definitely be that squiggly line one. It's ugh.
Now, yeah. Some specific teammate ones. Messiest teammate.
Oh, 1,100% me.
I'm actually looking in the background to see if we can actually.
I know, that's why I'm covering it because I'm no, it's definitely me.
Who would be the funniest teammate?
I'm going to go with Tony. You never know what you're going to get with her, but then you do.
Who is the loudest?
The loudest would be Kayla. I love Kayla's laugh. It is so infectious.
Who would be the best cook in the team so far that you know of?
I love Stella's recipes. She actually has a handmade recipe book that I've been meaning to take photos of.
Nines, it's been great chatting with you. Hopefully this has allowed everyone an insight into the awesome person that you are. Really looking forward to another season with you. Probably see you in a few minutes in the hallway, no doubt. But good luck this season and thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's another edition of Coach's Corner. Don't forget to follow the Boomers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn and YouTube for all updated news. To all our beautiful, strong Melbourne fans, we hope you're enjoying some much-deserved freedom back home, and thank you so much for your ongoing fabulous support. We really do have the best fans. Remember, the season starts next week and every game will be live, so don't miss it. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next week.